one of the topics we want to talk about is how to read, how to write, how to write a letter, how to write an email, all of those things.
High schools.
Yeah, so stressed, Lisa, what's going on? I was like, listen, I've read this book 3 times and I don't understand nothing.
This is more like a medium to full body, but it's for me, it's up there in terms of one of the top kind of multiple channels that I try.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
This is a chef.
Yeah, but one thing is smoking tobacco, isn't it? The other thing is wine or food, man.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Savouring Success podcast. I'm here again with Ricardo.
Hello.
We're going to be smoking some cigars, drinking some delicious wine. So let's get started, man.
Delicious, I like that.
Oh, man. They are delicious. Here you go, Ricardo. This is what I'm offering to you today.
Thank you very much. What is it?
This is an Arturo Fuente Don Carlos Robusto.
Okay.
So it's a Robusto cigar. It's an Arturo Fuente and Don Carlos.
Can I open it?
Of course, man. So this is a medium-bodied cigar. And it has a African Cameroon wrapper.
African Cameroon.
I don't think I've given you one of these before.
No.
Okay. So it's a Cameroon wrapper. And the binder and filler are from the Dominican Republic. Arturo Fuente makes the cigar in the Dominican Republic.
Nice.
And this cigar is to commemorate Don Arturo Fuentes Sr.
Don.
Yes. Arturo Fuente has been making cigars for over 100 years. So to commemorate all of this, they created the cigar, which uses vintage tobacco aged as much as 10 years. So I haven't tried this cigar yet.
It's your first time trying it as well.
It is my first time trying it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
See if we can pick up any notes.
Yeah.
So you smoke in the side, but smoke the foot of the cigar. Yes. Try with the other side.
This one?
No.
I can specify what the
No. So no. I do pick up a bit of cedar, a bit of spiciness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So normally we don't do this, man, and I forgot to tell you. But if you smell the foot of the cigar, you're able to pick up a little bit of those notes and you know what's coming.
Right.
But let's cut it. You smell the foot of the cigar and you try with both sides because sometimes you smell more from one side to the other one, yeah? Mm-hmm. And then another way of kind of tasting the cigar. So here it's dried because it's been like this for a long time. Right. But when you cut it, you're able to...
Yeah, the tobacco's fresher, right?
Yeah, it's fresher because it's been sealed for a while.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Okay.
Normally we just get excited and just cut and light and start smoking, but again, the podcast is about the drinking and the smoking of the cigars with the conversations. We will have great conversations. So today I just thought I'll give you a different experience as we're smoking it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Exactly. So you see where you're going to cut it and perfect. Yes. Now, yes, it's good to tap the cigar so any loose bits come out.
It smells fantastic.
Chocolate.
It's something. I couldn't tell. I couldn't specify exactly what it is.
This is a chef.
Yeah, but one thing is smelling tobacco, isn't it? The other thing is wine or food, man.
Of course, this side don't just shove it up your nose.
Something nutty to it.
Yes, as well. A bit of nuttiness. Smells really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Has a really nice tobacco smell.
Okay.
Light up yours first.
Okay.
So we have a couple of topics we want to talk about today. In the past, we have spoken about various things, including politics in the U.S. with Donald Trump. You were in Miami for a while. That was the last podcast, right? That we spoke about that?
No, we've done one since then, but it's not out yet though. But we have filmed episode 4. Okay. This is episode 5 today, right?
Yes. So if you guys have been watching the videos, can you just let us know in the comments what have you thought about them? What topics should we talk about? Because the whole point of the podcast was us sharing the conversations that we normally have. 2 of us, we both have businesses. So every now and then we get together to enjoy a nice cigar and a wine. And we have some crazy conversations. So we decided to turn the camera on for that. But if you guys can help us with some topics you like us to talk about or research or anything, just let us know in the comments.
It's very light, actually.
Yeah, it's a medium-bodied cigar. It's not too strong. I'm actually not sure, because is that a full-body wine?
Well, so this wine I got is it's actually a Montipulciano. So it's not a Sardinian wine.
Okay.
I know usually we're going with Sardinian wines, but I thought, you know what, let's mix it up. Don't always have to do Sardinian wines from Cedar wine and whatnot. The grape itself is classically known as one of the most known Italian grapes. When I was growing up in the restaurants, the most popular grapes were Chardonnay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when people like order the wine, not because they necessarily know what it is?
They just call the grape.
Yeah, it was kind of, if you go to white wines, when
Can I
I was
have
a
a
kid,
Merlot? Can I have a Chardonnay?
yeah, they don't really know what, what the cantina is, what the wine is. But to white wines, when I was a kid growing up, everyone used to say Chardonnay. Then the fashion became Pinot Grigio. And now it's all about Sauvignon.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just orders Sauvignon.
But that's just the grape. It's not the actual.
It's just the grape, yeah. It's not, it's got hundreds, thousands of different types of Sauvignon, Anyway, the grape is Montipulciano, which it just reminds me of being a kid growing up. It was always like that. The house wines, the most popular wines. You've got bottom end wines to the top end wines, which can be Montepulciano as well. It was a very common, popular, well-known grape. However, this is from Pasetti wines. It's called Madonnella, is what they call the wine. It's a Montepulciano from Abruzzo.
The region, yeah?
Abruzzo is the region, yeah. So you can get lighter kind of bodied Montepulcianos. You can get aged ones, the fuller bodied. This is more like a medium to full body, but it's for me, it's up there in terms of one of the top kind of Montepulcianos that I tried.
Okay.
It's fantastic. It's kind of notes of sour berries, currants, mature tannins.
Okay.
So again, food.
So is it an aged wine or?
No, it's not aged. However, this is 2020. I think the ones that's coming out now will be 2021.
Okay.
I think. But yeah, it's a 2020.
And are these wines that you have in Sarda wine or?
So I don't necessarily sell them online. However, this is on my wine list in the restaurant.
Okay.
If anyone does want it, I usually do this by personal. Like I have some customers of the restaurant which want me to source it for them, which I do. So if you do want me to get it, and
you can ship it to them.
yeah, of course I can. Yeah. Leave a comment and I will get back to you with an email to contact.
Or contact you on Instagram. Which
Or
is
message
much,
me on
much
Instagram.
easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what's your Instagram?
I'm not going to tell you.
I'll link it below. Don't worry, guys.
Ricardo P. Flores on Instagram. Here we are. Yeah.
It is a medium-bodied cigar, but on strength, I think it's going to be medium-bodied. Because on flavor, there's a lot of pepper, man.
Yeah.
Very peppery. But not a bad pepper. It's a very refined, very clean. The draw is nice. It's burning really nice. The smoke is really nice as well.
Okay.
Enjoying this, man. Yeah.
I kind of put it down as soon as I lit it.
Very peppery.
Which might actually work quite well with this wine. Because there are notes of pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, also black pepper.
But it's clean. You know, the aftertaste is nice.
Yeah.
There's the smoke is quite nice. A bit more. Yeah. Tell me what you think. But it did take a little bit to be picked up.
Yeah, to get the pepper.
Yeah?
Pepper, yeah. Wasn't that like that on the first couple of them?
Yeah, same here. I was like,
it was
oh,
quite
that's
light.
very, very
Now it's
plain.
good. Yeah.
But now it's... Well, it has aged tobacco. Aged tobacco does that. So it's very... all the ammonia, all of those things have come out, and you're just going to get the oils from the leaf.
Interesting. I think it's going to be one of those ones which changes as you pair it with
I
the
think
wine.
so, yes.
You know, it's going to develop.
Should we try with the wine?
Okay. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, man.
It's a nice sound, isn't it?
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
It's a lovely deep red, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deep ruby red. Quite velvety. Like I said, it's almost like when you say currants and those sour.
Yes. Sour. I pick up sour.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
As if
could it be the
wasn't-
cigar, but true, you
yeah,
said sour earlier.
Unripe berries, fruits almost.
Oh, that's really nice to drink,
Yeah.
man.
I class it more of a medium body, though. I wouldn't even say it's too much of a full body.
Yeah, medium. Although the tannins are there.
Yeah,
Strong
that's why they
tannins.
say it's like mature tannins to it, which
Yeah.
is why you would necessarily pair it with food.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Nice, enjoyable.
You don't feel much of the alcohol either.
What is it? This 14%, which I said.
Mm.
I mean, descriptions of it is kind of like they state it as extremely very well balanced.
Mm.
Kind of got a very good structure to it.
This is going to be
That's funny.
a
isn't it?
funny one because in the past where the videos we've done, normally he tells me, I got this wine, I got this cigar then. Today we did the same thing, but I hadn't tried that wine before.
Yeah.
I haven't tried this cigar before either.
Yeah.
So the pairing is going to be surprising.
It's funny that we said about the pepper before having the wine. This is classically kind of got notes of black pepper to it.
Mm.
And if I look from a chef's perspective, usually, so what your palate does, let's say you get when people say, why do you prepare dessert wines like sweet with sweet? It's because what you're trying to do is actually cancel out what you can already taste.
Oh, yes.
Right? So you can actually put emphasis on the other flavors. You can test the other flavors. So if I get a dessert, something that's really sweet, I would get a dessert wine which is really sweet, like a fortified wine, maybe it's really sweet, right? If you were to just drink that on its own, it's really
very sweet.
I mean, I like sweet. I don't mind sweet wine. Once you
pair with dessert,
yeah, you eat the dessert, which is sweet. You got all this sugar and everything going on in your mouth, and then you try the wine. It almost doesn't seem so sweet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah, because the pepper.
We first lit it, fine, nice. It was actually seemed quite light. Then I had to relight it again. I got the pepper, and it was very peppery. Then sip the wine, back to the cigar. It's like the pepper's gone. It's like your palate has balanced it out, counteracted it. It's actually not a bad pairing.
Well, it's not. I'm picking up some minerals. But anyway, let's get back to some of the points we want to discuss today, man.
Yeah.
One of the topics we want to talk about is, should kids be focused? We both have kids.
Yeah.
So this is a question that is probably going to touch base for us.
Yeah.
So
I'm currently having these conversations.
Yeah.
No.
Same here.
Yeah.
We will appreciate you guys leaving us some comments, because we are these are basically our conversations, our real conversations. These are things like, my son said this and I had to ask him, or this happened at work or business, whatever.
Yeah.
Should kids be focused on going to school and university?
We'll focus on school and education in general.
Who, you want to start or I start?
I tell you what, I'll start.
Go on then.
I was having this conversation last night anyway. I think it's completely dependent on your skills and ability, what you find interesting, and what road you want to take. Generically, I would say if you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, or an accountant, then you're most likely going to need to. You should be focused on that road. However, is school the road for everyone? Which I think there's quite this stigma around. Or there used to be. I think our father, coming from a certain generation, when I was growing up, my father was very much telling me, no, you have to go to university. Like my brother took that road.
Yeah.
And he does very well for himself. He does very well. He works for a big corporate company and he earns good money and he's got a very good job. And he's quite high up in there now. He's worked his way up, which is great. But I was never that way.
You never bought that dream.
I've always, which is ironic because of who I am and what I do, I've always had a bit more of like a hustler's mentality.
Yeah.
I've always had to hustle.
Well, you grew up around your dad as well.
Yeah, and I'm very similar.
So that was very...
And he's very much a hustler. So.
Yeah. You were very in touch with being self-employed, but with doing your own thing, being your own boss, your own hours, the struggle. Because deep down, we kind of like that. You got to like
It's like being a masochist, isn't it?
You
like the
but
pressure,
then when you win, then you feel really good because you win.
I like to win because I grafted in my own way, you know what I mean, and grafted. But yeah, like I said, we come from that parenting generation where it was very much like you have to go to uni or university, like you have to go to school. I hated it. I hated every second being there, except when I got to maybe there was a point in college and I was like, yeah, okay, but it was more just because you had a bit more freedom. You're of a certain age. Maybe you learn to drive and you actually get the free...
Teach you different. You're free to go, come and go.
Yeah. So, and I very much knew from a young age, for me personally, that I don't think the education system or school is necessarily the right path for me.
Okay.
You went to university, right?
For a week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just for a week.
Just a week?
Just a week.
I thought you did longer than okay.
No. And I didn't just drop out because I didn't want to go to uni. I actually wanted to go to uni because I wanted to study those careers that you need to go to uni. I wanted to become an architect.
Exactly, that's you would have to.
Yeah. It depends, man. And that's something I want to talk when it's my turn to talk.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, so as I was saying, we come from that generation. So for us, growing up, it was very much like you should and you have to. However, I think the world now has become a lot more adapted to people not going and is a bit more open to, I suppose, a creative mind, and that sat in a classroom and having to reply yes or no and do as you're told and write this, and you do the exams on your own, and which is also a bit of a funny mindset, because we're also, you know, tribal animals really, and we're not actually designed to do things on our own. Yeah, we're expected to sit down, shut up, and do this exam on your own and do whatever. Some people operate better that way, some people don't, which I guess you'll naturally fall into that road of career in terms of what you want to do. Like I said, you're either business savvy and business mindset, which you probably wouldn't be going down that road of, unless you're studying business, but then that's another topic in itself, because the thing about going to university to study business, so then you're getting business lecturers, which most probably have never had a business themselves. So how is it that they can teach you how to have a business when, why are
so
you...
you're book savvy.
I suppose it really depends if you're how, I don't want to say intellectual, because you don't necessarily need to be intellectual to stay or be in school, but I suppose how academic you are, naturally. Some people can retain information just by reading it. That was not really me growing up in school. I'm very much like an audio and visual learner. So you can imagine us, I mean, the ripe age of our mid-30s now, but so when we were in school, that wasn't necessarily the way you learned in school. Nope. It was very much like the teacher just talking at you, and you're reading books, and then you have to do an exam based on what you've been told. That wasn't necessarily the school system, especially back when we were in school, wasn't necessarily the way that I learned, which is probably why I didn't feel so aligned with it, and why I knew I didn't want to go to university. I knew I just wanted I was very physical, a hands-on kind of person. I just wanted to graft and make money. I just wanted to earn money and make money.
So what would you say to your sons?
Well,
I think
it's very much like more just standing back and observing what their interests are and what they're good at as they grow older. I mean, my little boys right now are very little. They're 4 and 3. So, you know, I think it's more just seeing what their talents are, and then seeing what roads present themselves based on their talents and what they're interested in, right? Might be school, but it might not.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would be pushing it on them. I think if they can benefit from going, then yes. I think they should definitely complete school, like high school and college maybe. More because of, I think it teaches you the form, like the problem solving social aspect of things, making friends, not making friends, having issues. You know, I think there's a lot of that which you should be able, like, you learn to confront through life. I think that's going to teach you about your character and yourself, and you learn a lot about yourself in school. Yeah. But university, getting in debt to pay for a qualification that you might not necessarily need, that is where I kind of draw the line and say, well, is it worth it for you?
Yeah. With me personally, I did enjoy school. I did enjoy learning. I mean, I was academic. I did well, but the reading and the way that we were being taught. So I did very well in some classes and really bad in other classes. Everything that had to be read, memorized, and then do a test, horrible. Everything that I could do manually or experiment, like science, art, all of those things, I was doing amazing. I could understand it. I could break it apart. I could see why this is working like this. Yeah. You know, math, all of this, I could understand why. But when it came to like history, English, and those things, oh man, like I would sleep. As a matter of fact, again, audiobooks and stuff is the only way I could, like history and stuff, I would have it.
But audiobooks wasn't really a thing when we were.
Well, I would have somebody read it to me.
Right. Oh, okay. Did you acknowledge that when you were...
Yeah,
right.
I understood that from the beginning. Because I didn't. Obviously from Venezuela, I come from a very large family. Yeah. Different age. Yeah. So one day I was going through this, and in Venezuela we're very into education. Yeah. Like, which, changing the point a little bit, I think our parents' generation pushed us a lot to go to school and university and stuff, because they came from an era where you had to...
They didn't have the opportunity.
Well, they didn't have the opportunity,
from, like,
but
extreme
also
poverty, so he didn't have the opportunity to...
Yeah, well, my dad as well. He didn't. Yeah. But I also think they came from an era that you had to study to be someone. That was the dream that was sold to you.
100%,
Yeah?
yeah, exactly.
So they will tell you, no, you want to be somebody, you have to study, and then you can get a job, and then once you get a job, then you work up that ladder, and then you get to the top level, and that's when you're going to be, you know, okay and wealthy and fine. That was the dream that was sold to our parents'
Yeah.
generation.
Which was true for them growing up.
And then they tried to push that on us, but, you know, things changed. So we went from the industrial revolution to now to AI revolution, to computers, to all of this.
Yeah, yeah.
So going back to like finding out, which is something that I do tell my boys, they're a bit older than yours.
Yeah.
And I will tell anybody here, not all of us are cut from the same cloth.
Cut from the same cloth,
Yeah. The majority will be happy to just sit down, read, memorize, do the test. Some of us can't do that. And again, we have a very large family.
Yeah.
And one of my cousins was having the same issue as me, but she was already in uni.
Right.
She came in one day and she's like, why are you so stressed, Lisa? What's going on? I was like, listen, I've read this book 3 times and I don't understand nothing. So she just grabbed the book and read it to me. And then she asked me all the questions. And it was like, bam! So she said, listen, you and I, we study the same way. One, I need music playing. Some background stuff, yeah?
Right.
Because if I have music playing, for some reason, it's like I don't get distracted. If it's quiet, dude, any little noise, yeah? Pencil falls on the floor. You just go and you get distracted. Something fly, you just look at it and you're like, bah. And you like start imagining all of this.
Do you have a short attention span?
No, it's not that. It's just that I get distracted really easily. But if music is playing, even when I'm here editing or doing whatever, if I play music, I go, because I think the subconscious is busy with the music, and then you just concentrate.
Makes sense.
I don't know how it works, man, but I gotta have music on. And a few of my younger cousins, we've realized, obviously, my older cousin was the one that clocked it on first. She told us, because she was in uni, and in uni they teach you differently. So they told her, look, try like this. So anyway, from then on, all of those history books and all of that stuff, I had it read to me, and I will be able to go and sit my exams. Did well.
Well, history is a funny one, right? Like, I hated history in school. Hated it.
I like it now, though.
Oh, but now I love history. But I've always said, if you want to understand the future, you have to understand the past.
Yeah.
Because life is patterns, right? We're going through a pattern right now with everything going on between Palestine, Israel, Russia, all these kind of things. It's just a pattern in society and life and how we're going. It's patterns in business, patterns in relationships. History in school, how it's taught to you, is more just like, and you know, I would like to say an A4 page. It was more like 100 bloody A4 pages.
Well, back home we read books on one topic.
So again,
here is much easier.
Now in my adult life, I realize I love books, but audio books.
Yeah.
Not reading. So then therefore in history in school they're telling you what history was. Then you have to read it. And then you
set an exam.
Yeah, and then you're
like,
told
did
to do
you
an exam
memorize
and,
it?
Yeah, and relate back to what it is they taught. And I'm like, but not everyone learns that way. But it's funny because when I was a kid, I hated it. But now in my adult life, I love it.
Yeah, because now we find it interesting. So like, I find it interesting.
Very interesting.
I came from Venezuela where we had to learn about the Spanish. Yeah. We had to learn about the way they went to South America and took over. Yeah. Then we had to learn about how we got our freedom. And then I come to the UK at 10 years old and I had to learn about the British history. Yeah. So like hating history and learning double history, that was like, the worst thing ever. But anyway, so my point is this. To the question, I did enjoy going to school. And I do think it is necessary to go to school at least up to college. Finish your primary and secondary school because you need to learn how to read, how to write, how to write a letter, how to write an email, all of those things.
High school.
Yeah. Another thing that I found good with high school, for example, is you start to learn to be responsible because normally you go to high school. Your parents don't take you to high school, so you can bank off. Yeah. So you learn to be responsible, you learn about consequences if you miss. So it teaches you a lot. The problem is that the educational system, as I was saying earlier with our parents, was built around the industrial age.
Mm-hmm.
And that age is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah? So our kids are not going to go and work in a factory. Before, they needed labor. They needed labor, so they needed to teach you the basics, but mostly they needed to teach you how to sit down, repeat and repeat and repeat, because that's what you were going to do as an adult.
Well, the argument is that the education system hasn't developed or evolved.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So
times, if there was actually not a study, but something come out where if you actually look at the way the school system, the education system is structured, it's exactly the same as it was however many hundred years ago. It's exactly the same.
They needed you to just go there and do your job, and that's it. But things have changed. And I do believe going to school is a must.
Mm-hmm.
But there's two things that the school system should change. One, they should see what type, like you said about your kids, what type of student you are. Because some of us are happy to sit down at a computer, input data, and some of us are happy to struggle, to grind, and all of this. Now, with AI, all of those data inputs, all of those things that can be done by AI are going to be done by AI. And the school system is not changing. So all of those people who are being taught in that way are probably going to find it really hard to get a job. Because I can get an AI to input all the data faster, understand it, memorize it, and do whatever I need it to do. Okay? By the time our kids are older, if the school system hasn't changed, they're going to struggle a lot. I think it would be up to us, in our case, to, help them and teach them other ways. Yeah. But going to school, it is necessary up to a certain level. Being in the UK, I remember they asked me, so what profession you want to do? And
how would you know that at that age?
Well, I did know. Did you? Yeah, I did know I wanted to become an architect.
Cigar sommelier.
No, I wanted to become an architect. Okay, so right. I did know, but I know a lot of people. My sister.
Yeah, but then you changed your mind.
My sister didn't even know.
Yeah, but you've changed your mind. Like you don't want to be an architect now. Which is my point, though. You're going to change your mind so many times as you grow up.
Well, I changed my mind because of the circumstances. I didn't change my mind because I didn't want to become an architect.
Like, would you still be an architect now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
you
things
still enjoy that,
of course.
Yeah.
But that's me. I like buildings. I like architecture. I like drawings. I like creating. That's me. But a lot of people would change their mind. Sometimes you're into psychology and then you realize that's not your thing and you want to become a doctor, or you just realize the blood is not for you, or seeing people pass away. Like, many things can change your mind. So in high school, instead of asking you what profession you want to do or what you want to do in uni and stuff, they should actually do a questionnaire and then find out what kind of person you are. If you are more of an entrepreneurial or artistic or things like that, they should push you towards the path of, let's help you create a company. If you leave uni with a company and you're able to start that early, you have such a head start. And if they taught you how to do finances, how to do business,
this is the other argument.
And all of those things, man.
This is the other argument, though, about the school system. They will not ever teach you those, because they don't. The argument is, and you get all these conspiracy theorists jumping on all this, then, is that it's not even a conspiracy, but they don't want...
It's the reality.
It is the reality, because they don't want you to necessarily know how to make money. It's like if you were to be a chiropractor, they'll give you all the skills to be a chiropractor, but they'll never actually teach you how to set up a chiropractic business.
Yeah.
It's like,
and that's what I'm saying. If you're the kind of person...
they never want you to know.
But I think they're going to have to do it.
Why?
Because what's the point of having all of these people?
That's how it's always been.
But things have changed. That's how things used to be during the Industrial Revolution time. Yeah. But now, what is the point of having all of these people, masters in history and all of this?
I'll tell you why.
When AI can do it better. So you're going to have all of these unemployed people.
Yeah, 100%. Of course you will. But I'll tell you why. Because the way I see it, for society to function, there's 3 tiers to people, to where they want people to be. You have the lower class, the middle class, and the upper class, right? The society, at the end of the day, you think who runs the world is the banks, in reality. And then the people behind the banks, which you're never going to know. We call them the shadow leaders.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Conspiracy guy.
Well, you can go down that road if you want. But
the reality.
the reality is the society, the government, the banks, they make the most money from people who are within this middle class, right? Which means people who are just general citizens of society who work a normal job, don't earn too much money, and they don't go into that upper class echelon of life.
Yeah, but the thing is,
they pay the most taxes. They follow the rules, and they pay the most taxes. Like COVID. COVID was a perfect example, right? If they tell you to stay home, you stay home. The only people who didn't have to follow those rules is the absolute bottom of society, which is the extreme poverty, because they got nothing to lose anyway. What are you going to take from them? They ain't got nothing. Or the people who are extremely wealthy. This country goes on lockdown, they just jump on their jet and they go to a different country.
yeah.
You know what I mean? The only people who have to follow the rules and pay the most amount of taxes are the people within the middle bracket, which is the middle class. So which is why then the school system linked into that. They don't necessarily want you to learn how to make money. What they will do is they will take an example of someone who's made a lot of money within the traditional system of what they want you to do. And they'll say, look, you could be like this guy.
Yeah.
And you could make a great living like this Dr. Alex, blah, 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 whatever, makes 200 grand a year because he went to school, he got his degree, and this and that and that. Like, you should all be like this guy. But the reality is the majority of people are not going to end up being like that guy.
No.
And that's why they call it the rat race. You're in a rat race. You need to win the rat race.
But the thing is, they need to. I think they're going to be forced to change that. There's already AI that can look at X-rays and tell you.
Yeah, but you're going to need a doctor to physically give.
Yeah, but then you
things
just
to
need one
do
doctor.
I don't know.
AI is right. Oh no, it's wrong. It's right.
Well, that's what GPs do now.
Yeah.
This is why Britain is absolutely failing in terms of the NHS and the GP care, because it's like if you've been to a GP, like you go to a GP, you tell them what's wrong with you. Half of the time, they're there in front of you on the computer Googling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's nothing you can't find yourself on Google. I mean, you do get some knowledgeable GPs, obviously, but they go, I think you need this medicine, and then they go, let me just double check, and they go into this system just to tell them, and I'm like, what have I come to see you for, man?
Yeah.
I could just Google that myself. The difference is you're just able to give me the prescription.
Yeah. At the moment, that's how it works.
Do you know what I mean?
But I don't know, man. So I do.
And that's if you get a see-in from the GP.
Yeah, man. Like you got to ring at. Like,
You're lucky to get a phone appointment at this point.
it's crazy.
I know.
The UK is failing really
Hard.
fast. Really fast. And what's happening at the moment is you're having all of these entrepreneurs and rich people who are leaving the UK.
So I'll go down the conspiracy road with that. Why do people hate rich people? It's a narrative painted by the people who want society to be within the middle class, because you're told to think that people with money are bad
people.
Right? At the end of the day, money...
But they're not bad, man.
No, money,
we need rich people.
All money is an amplifier. It amplifies who you already are. If you're a great person, you're a good person, money will make you an even better person. You'll be even better. If you're a horrible person, money will make you even more horrible.
But you're horrible with money or without money. 100%. You're just horrible.
It's just money allows you to be that on a bigger scale.
Yes.
You know, you even look at like the whole superhero kind of narrative.
Yeah.
Right? The best superheroes are the ones that are made to be part of like the average Joes. Like the normal people. One of us. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Superheroes. The people, the ones with money like Batman and Iron Man, made out to be like these narcissistic, horrible people who don't really give about anything except money and themselves, power, and selfish and power and all. You know what I mean? They're made to be the bad people. It's like society is painted out to be that the people in the middle class are the winners, the real heroes, and then which in a way you're not wrong, because at the end of the day you also need those people for society to function.
We need the whole three tiers.
You need everyone.
We need the whole three tiers.
You need everyone. But if everyone was rich, you'd have no society. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because who's going to do, unless AI gets 100%. Really advanced really quickly, who's going to do...
It'll never get to that point, because AI will not exist without humans.
Well, they need...
It physically can't. At the end of the day, if it gets too far, humans will just push a button, switch it off, done.
We need...
AI can't exist without humans. They're learning from what? From human data.
I don't know, man.
They're learning from human data.
Yeah, but one point it could switch on us, man. I think the generative AI... I don't know. That's a tricky one.
AI cannot exist without humans.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say on that. I haven't done my full research on that. Europe, not just UK, Europe is in the dark ages when it comes to AI. And this is the future, man. China, UAE, USA, all of these countries are way more advanced.
Why are we in the dark ages? Why
because they have all of these regulations and they have all of these things that stop you from doing anything.
That's the game,
no, but what's happening in Europe and the UK, they've had so many regulations, so many parts of the government trying to control this, control that, now everything is so controlled that you can't do anything.
Yeah, however, do believe that now Trump is in power.
I hope, man. I hope
this is the turning point.
I hope that by Trump being in power,
this is why I supported Trump for the last however many years, because I know that he's the man that's going to be able to change it now with Elon on his side, and that's the guy from Facebook, Zuckerberg. Even I saw a video of him come out that he posted how bad censorship has got, and the whole cancel culture and things like. And I'm like, it is so
hypocrite.
It's so hypocritical, because I'm like, you were part of it.
Yep.
You were part of that whole cancel culture.
It's
all a
crazy,
matter of control,
man.
power and control them, and which ties us back into the school point, because that's kind of what they're nurturing you for. It's becoming a very niche market now, which should go to school. I think otherwise you can probably figure it out on your own. There's plenty of, with AI and with these online courses, you can probably get a lot more benefits out of doing these online courses as opposed to going to uni and dropping 30, 40 grand.
Having an education system that's concentrated into making you follow rules, copy and paste, and sit down and leave and come back tomorrow is dead. The world is open to you. Nowadays, you can take your business with this. You're gone. If you're online if you're selling online, if you're an online trader and stuff, you take this with you and your business is gone with you.
The ironic thing is, rich people are now saying, like, again, the middle class people are saying how hard it is because of inflation and everything going on in the country. But then the rich people are now saying that now has never been easier to be a millionaire, to make money because of our phones.
Agree.
Because of our phones. Yeah, it's the middle class society, or part of society, which is saying how hard it is.
Why?
They have been
conditioned through education to do that. So, back to the point. Take a deep look into yourself and think, do I enjoy getting a paycheck? Some people love that. The security and just going to work.
Consistency.
5 o'clock, you leave and work is done.
Some people couldn't cope with uncertainty.
Well, here we are. What time is it? 8.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make a business, a podcast. We're trying to do something. Some people enjoy.
I thought we
5
were
o'clock.
We were on a podcast. Holy shit.
5 o'clock, job is done, going home, sit on my sofa, watch TV. Some people enjoy that. Same way as some people enjoy reading and then taking a test.
Yeah.
But then there's some of us who find that boring, who will sleep through a book because it's boring, and you're not interested in history at that time on your life. Maybe when you're older, when you really want to know, oh, you know what, now it's interesting. So that happened because of this. Now you do the research and like, oh, now it's interesting.
Yeah.
But the problem is that when you are 15, 16, I think you're still too young to know what's going on. But the way that the world is advancing and the way that things are being, the world is opened to the young generation now. Like my son, for example, he goes, searches on YouTube and he finds out about this guy and about that guy. And he's like, Dad, look, this guy's doing that guy's doing that. So maybe by the time you're 17, 18, maybe by the time he's 17, 18, he already knows what he wants to do because he's already been experienced to all of this.
I feel like you need to also figure out if you're...
What type of person you are.
Yeah, what type of person you are. Are you a hustler, are you a grafter, or are you a bit more of a book smart kind of person? If you're a book smart, not to say that you can't do your own business, but if you are a book smart, you're probably really going to benefit a lot more from just working your way up a corporate.
Well, definitely going to school and learning how to write properly.
Yeah, it all depends on what kind of person you are. I always knew I was going to... I'm the type of roll up my sleeves, get dirty kind of guy. I'm going to make it on my own. I'm going to do it in my own way, my own method.
Anyway, I think we covered the points. The cigar has been great. I had some chocolate notes. It's been, a little bit of cedar notes. It is an aged tobacco cigar. Makes it a bit more of an elegant smoke instead of like getting all those strong notes like peppers and spices and all of this. So I highly recommend this, especially, after dinner, maybe with it could be a red wine, but it has to be if you have a very strong full body wine, it's not going to work. It would work well with some rums. So if you want it, rum would be nice.
Would go very nice
because the
with
sweet notes and stuff, I think it's going to work really well.
Yeah.
If you want to try it out, this is the Arturo Fuente Don Carlos Robusto. It is on totopuro.com for £27.50. If they want to try your wine,
the wine what we've had today is a Montipulciano d'Abruzzo, and it's from Pazzetti Wines. This is not on sardawines.com, but if you do want to try it, please leave a comment down below or message me on Instagram, which is my handle is at Ricardo P Flores.
Okay.
And I will get hold of it for you and ship it straight to your door.
There you go. And on that note, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a comment. If you want the wine, definitely leave a comment. Tell us what kind of topics you would like us to talk about.
Yeah.
And till next time, cheers.